Welcome back to the Mortgage Reports. Today we're talking about one of the biggest questions that comes up when people hear the words reverse mortgage. What happens to the loan and the home after the homeowner passes away? It's not always the easiest topic to talk about, but it's such an important one. Now, whether you already have a reverse mortgage or you're just thinking about getting one, understanding what happens after you're gone can make a huge difference for your family and your estate planning. Now in this video, we're going to walk through exactly how a reverse mortgage is handled after death, what your heirs can and can't do, and how to make the process easier on them. We'll go step by step, answer common questions, and even share a few real-life examples. So when exactly does a reverse mortgage become due after the borrower dies? A reverse mortgage doesn't need to be paid back while the borrower is still living in the home, but once that final borrower passes away, the loan becomes due and payable. That usually happens pretty quickly, within about 30 days, and the lender will notify the estate that the balance must be repaid. From there, the family or heirs generally have up to 6 months to settle the loan, with the possible extensions depending on the circumstances. Now, during that time, the balance continues to accrue interest, so the faster it's handled, the better. In simple terms, the homeowner's death is what triggers the repayment. The lender doesn't take the home automatically, but the estate now has to decide how to handle the loan. Second question, what options do heirs have once reverse mortgages become due? Well, the good news is that heirs usually have 3 clear options for what to do next. Sell the home. Now, this is the most common route. The home is sold, the reverse mortgage is paid off from the proceeds, and anything left over goes to the estate or the heirs. You can keep the home. If your heirs want to keep the property, maybe it's a family home or an investment, they can refinance the reverse mortgage into a traditional loan or pay off the balance using other funds. Or they can walk away. If the loan balance ends up being higher than the home's current market value, your heirs can simply hand the home over to the lender. Now, because reverse mortgages are non-recourse loans, the lender can't come after the heirs for more money. They can only recover the home itself. That third option offers peace of mind for families. No one inherits debt from a reverse mortgage. Now, question 3. What happens if there's a surviving spouse or co-borrower? Now, if there's a surviving spouse who's listed as a co-borrower on the reverse mortgage, they're fully protected. They can stay in the home, continue to live there, and the loan doesn't come due until they leave the property or pass away themselves. But if the surviving spouse wasn't listed as a borrower, what's called a non-borrowing spouse, things can get a little more complicated. Now, depending on when the loan was taken out and whether certain conditions are met, they might still be allowed to stay in the home, but they'll have to follow very specific rules. That's why it's so important, if you're married, to make sure both spouses are on the reverse mortgage if possible. It's one of the simplest ways to avoid future confusion or hardship. Question 4. What happens if the home is worth less than the loan balance? This is one of the biggest fears people have, but here's the reassuring part. With the reverse mortgage, your heirs will never owe more than the home is worth. That's because these loans are federally insured and classified as non-recourse, which means the lender's only collateral is the home itself. If the balance is higher than the value of the home, your heirs can simply sign the property over to the lender and walk away. No extra bills, no leftover debt. It's one of the built-in protections that makes reverse mortgages a safe option for many homeowners. Question 5. What does this actually look like? Well, let's look at 2 quick examples. Example A. Mary, a 76-year-old widow, took out a reverse mortgage to supplement her retirement income. When she passed away, her 2 sons decided to sell the home. They worked with the lender, sold the property within 6 months, and after paying off the loan, still had around $80,000 left in equity. Everything went smoothly because Mary had explained the process to them in advance. Example B. George and Ellen were both on the reverse mortgage as co-borrowers. When George passed, Ellen was able to stay in the home with no disruption. She continued paying taxes and insurance and lived there comfortably for several more years. Only after Ellen moved into assisted living did the loan become due, at which point their kids sold the home and settled the loan. Now, these examples show how planning and communication can make all the difference, and that the process doesn't have to be stressful or complicated when everyone knows what to expect. Question 6. What does the bottom line? How should families think about reverse mortgages after death? Well, the bottom line is this. A reverse mortgage doesn't mean your heirs lose your home, and it doesn't pass on any debt. It simply means that the loan needs to be settled once the borrower has passed away. The key is preparation. Make sure your heirs understand the process, know their options, and have access to the right paperwork. When managed the right way, a reverse mortgage can be a powerful financial tool that gives retirees flexibility and still leaves loved ones in control. Now, I know this isn't the lightest topic, but it's one of the most important. Understanding what happens to a reverse mortgage after death helps protect your family, your home, and your peace of mind. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Mortgage Reports, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss future videos that break down complicated housing topics in simple, real-world terms. And if you have a specific question, maybe about your own situation or a family member's, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to help clear things up. And for a deeper dive and even more details, don't forget to check out the full article, the links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.